What is going on, everybody? My name is Chris Howe, and on this week's episode, we're talking about one of my favorite things to shoot video of on the entire planet, and that is cars. Now, if you guys are fans of the show Top Gear, then this is right up your alley. We're gonna be covering the basics on how to make essentially a car commercial, or essentially shooting cars in general if you wanna start making more YouTube videos about your cars at home. So without further ado, let's jump into it, everybody. Woo! So before we jump into today's episode, I have to say it, please be safe. Follow the law, because I don't want to hear about anybody in the comments getting hurt or anybody's friends getting hurt because they watched Chris Howe's YouTube tutorial on how to shoot video of cars, and now it's all over the news that people are getting hurt shooting videos of cars. I don't want to hear about that. I want to hear about people who are getting jobs because they learned some stuff from this video. So be safe. Now let's jump into the tutorial. So it's extremely important to remember that you guys are selling a story, not so much the car itself. So yes, you'll have a bunch of ideas on how to shoot angles of cars and different shots for cars, but remember, ultimately, whatever your final video that you are creating, that is a story that you are telling. The car is a character, the location is also a character, so make sure that the characters match. If you have a pickup truck, make sure you put that pickup truck in a location that makes sense for a pickup truck. If you guys are shooting some sort of like really fast car or a race car, put it on a racetrack. It just kind of makes sense to pair the car with the right location. So that is step number one, location matching your car. So we're gonna jump into the things that you need to actually shoot a car commercial. The first thing being a proper crew. And you're gonna need about 3 people to make a car commercial. The first one being yourself, the camera operator slash director slash producer slash predator. That's what they call it, producer, director, editor, shooter. It's a fun term. Number 2 is you're gonna need somebody to drive the other vehicle that you are shooting. And number 3, someone to drive you in the vehicle that you are shooting from. The next thing that you're gonna need are walkie-talkies. Now, communication is extremely important, especially on a car commercial set, because you're gonna need to be able to communicate to your driver, who will communicate to the other driver on how close that car should be when you're doing chase shots, which we'll talk about a little further in this tutorial. Open communication is extremely important if you want a safe environment to shoot in. So make sure you guys have some walkie-talkies on set, and also they're just fun. You can use those things that people say like over and out or Roger, because it just makes it more fun, so you should get some. All right, the next item that you're gonna need is a gimbal, and obviously cars can get quite shaky, so you want some smooth footage for this, so I'd highly recommend that you guys bring a gimbal along. The next item that you're gonna need is a slider. Now, I absolutely love getting like detailed macro shots of like the badges and the logos and like the interior of the car, and honestly, sometimes a gimbal is just not gonna do the trick. Sometimes you get this like wobbly up and down motion. So I would highly recommend that you guys bring a slider along in your shoot so you get some of those pro looking shots of some like the little detail things in the car. Now let's talk about lenses. Now there's about 3 lenses that I would recommend that you try to bring along on a car shoot. Number 1 being a wide lens, because you're gonna need to shoot a wide of this car driving through an amazing location. The second one is a telephoto lens, and the last lens is a macro lens to capture all the beautiful details that go into the interior and exterior of a car. And if you guys really want to step up the production on your car commercial, I would recommend that you guys bring along a drone. One of the things that I like as an extra on set is either a one wheel or a boosted board. This way you can get a little bit more creative with your shots, or maybe go off-roading with the one wheel so you can get some cool parallax with shots. But this is obviously a little bit extra. You guys don't need a one wheel or a boosted board, but I would still recommend, if you guys have access to one or can rent one, might as well bring it along. All right, so we're gonna talk about the most fun part about shooting cars, and that is chase shots. So essentially what you're gonna need are 2 cars, one car to shoot and another car to put yourself in so that you can shoot that car. Now, as a reminder, make sure that you guys have a secure location, a secure track, because you don't want other cars driving around, because you want to get creative with your shot. So I would highly recommend finding some sort of secure location, block off the roads on whatever private property you are on, but make sure everything is legal and you're paying for the location, doing things right. Now that we've covered that, you guys are gonna jump into the back part of your chase car. Now, I would hope that you guys find a car with maybe a window that just slides down at the back so you don't have to drive with like a big trunk open. I've done this before. It actually gets kind of annoying because the trunk ends up being in your shot. So try to find one where the window goes down at the back. Now, a big trend on YouTube these days is to shoot most of your B-roll in slow motion, but when it comes to car commercials, you should probably stray away from it. I would stick to 24 frames a second unless the slow motion supports the story, like a big truck going through mud or something like that. Now, in order to make the cars look like they're going fast, you don't actually have to go that fast. What's a good little trick is that you bring your camera lower to the ground, and the closer that your camera gets to the ground, the faster the ground looks like it's moving. Okay, so here are a few shot ideas if you guys are doing chase shots. Now, the first one being just have the cars running at the same pace, get a nice good distance, and just hold a shot of the front of the car. The next one is have the car drive a little bit up on an angle so that you guys are kind of shooting like this. This is you, this is the second car, and you're shooting at a 3/4 angle of the car. Essentially, both cars and people look better when you're shooting on an angle. The next one is now have that car go in front of the frame and then back over the frame. Shots of the car going across the frame look really good. It looks like it's like speeding and kind of very agile. The next one is if you shoot a wide side profile of the car driving, now tighten up that lens, get on the wheels, get on a few details of that car so you can get some stuff of that car driving from the side angle. And one of my favorite shots, and I actually do this on the one wheel, is when you actually go towards the car. So you have your camera right here, you're going this way, the car is coming towards you, and you whip past the car really quickly. So you're going like, boom, like that. Here's an example of that shot. Now, alternatively, if you guys don't want to have to hang out the back of a car, you can suction cup an Osmo to the back so that you can actually do it remotely from your phone or attach a GoPro. That's another way to get chase shots from one car to another. Now, if you guys really want to step up the production value of your car commercial or whatever you're shooting that includes a car, well, I would bring out a drone. Now, the thing about drones when shooting cars is that when you're shooting a car, it actually looks like it's going extremely slow. So you need to find something that you can put either in the foreground or fly it nice and low to give an idea of how fast this car is actually driving. So find a cool location that either has some trees or maybe like a riverbed that you can fly along and actually chase this car with. Now, the first shot is a top-down bird's eye view shot. Try to find something where you get a bit closer to the ground. You can really get a sense of how fast this car is going. The second one is shoot it from the side. Get a nice profile shot of this car. Try to find a location where you can safely fly the drone from the side so you can get a profile shot from the side of the car driving. It's nice if you get something in the middle like trees because that's when it really looks like it's going fast. It's really nice to add a lot of movement to your drone shot. So if you guys can, try to do a wraparound shot. So if the car's driving, follow it along and wrap around the front or the back part of the car. That's when you really get some impressive drone shots. Now, it's obvious to shoot the outside of the car, but it's also important to shoot the inside. So let's cover the shots that you'll need to shoot the inside of a car. Number one, shooting the logos. So that's shooting the logo on the steering wheel, shooting the logos that you can see throughout the car. Make sure you cover all the little logos that are kind of seen throughout it. The next one is technology. So if the car has a cool radio, maybe shoot the dash of the radio. Find all the other little pieces of tech lying around the car and make sure you guys capture those. And every car is different, so find the unique characteristics of that car and shoot that. Now, those last shots, I would probably shoot that when the car is not moving, but if you're gonna get some shots of the car moving from inside, I would try to get a shot from the back seat when you're kind of shooting in between the seats, kind of an over the shoulder of somebody driving the car. Now, make sure their hands are at 10 and 2. Now, let's try mounting your camera to the car. Now, in this case, I would start with a small rig, kind of like a GoPro rig. It's usually pretty affordable to get into, but obviously you can step your way up and get huge suction cups that go all over the car, and you can put like REs and Reds and like $100,000 cameras. But let's start with the simple stuff. So if you have a GoPro, mount it to the front of the car, get a shot of the hood while it's driving. Now, let's flip that camera around so you actually can see the people inside the car driving and having a good time and having a conversation. Now try putting the suction cup on the side of the car right down by the wheel well so you can get some shots of the wheel spinning or maybe the wheel turning. And the last shot idea, now in full transparency, I haven't tried this myself, but I've seen some friends do it, is where you get some like broomsticks. You get 3 broomsticks, you create a triangle and use some suction cups on the back part of the car. And essentially you have your car right here, you have your GoPro in the air shooting down, and essentially it's like a gamer's view of a car. So have you ever played Grand Theft Auto? You can get that kind of like camera in the sky kind of shot of like the car driving around. Try that shot out if you have some suction cups and a GoPro. Now, before we jump into the next tips for shooting car commercials, we have a sponsor for today's episode, and that sponsor is Audible. Now, I'm a big fan of this product. I've used it for the last year. Now, if you guys don't know what Audible is, it's essentially an audiobook website where you can listen to audiobooks, and I've listened to about 20 over the last year. Some of my favorite audiobooks actually include The Outliers by Malcolm Gladwell, which I feel like is a recommendation for most people. And the second book is The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron. Now, the first time I listened to this book, I remember just my mind was like, because as a creative, it was such a game changer. So if you guys are an artist or you find yourself to be in the creative space, would highly recommend those 2 books. Now, if you guys want to access an unmatched amount of audiobook selection, you can start your free 30-day trial and actually get a free book to start by heading over to audible.com/Chris Howe, all one word, or text Chris Howe, all one word, to 500 if you guys are from the US. So the next section is detail, macro, and tight shots. Now I recommend that the car not be in motion during this time. All right, quick pro tip, make sure you bring some cleaning utensils to actually clean your car. If you're spending a full day in a vehicle shooting it, it's gonna get dirty, and you don't want to be in post later being like, oh man, there's dust everywhere on this shot. So bring some wet wipes, bring some cleaning materials along so that you don't hate yourself in post. So remember we were talking about gear earlier? This is the section where we're gonna bust out our slider. So set up your slider and let's put that thing through the car. So open up the door, kind of place the slider inside so you can have it go across the dash and get details of like the different badges and the different pieces of equipment and technology. It just straight up looks cool when a camera's going through a car. And the next one is lifestyle. Now remember when we were talking about location of the car actually being a character? Well, people actually have to envision themselves in this car. So create a lifestyle around this car. So if you're shooting a minivan, create a storyline that suits a minivan. Maybe have a family in it doing some sort of activity that kind of represents somebody who would own a minivan. So make sure you kind of capture the lifestyle around that car. Now, my last tip is to kind of like almost break all the rules that I talked about there and just get weird. If you guys are learning something online, you found some sort of creative technique that you saw in another video, well, feel free to apply it to your car video, because the more unique that your car commercial is, the higher chance that you might get hired to shoot car commercials in the future. Not everything always has to follow a template. Actually, talking about getting weird and getting strange shots, we actually taped a GoPro to the windshield wiper blade. Then we had the shot of like the windshield wiper blade going like this. This was one of these fun videos that we created in the past. Here's the shot. It didn't turn out the best, but it was still kind of fun to add into it. I remember people commenting on it. So yes, try out new shots and maybe take the camera to different places on the car, because you never know. Maybe that will end up being a shot that somebody absolutely loves and gets you hired. All right, guys, so those are my basic tips for shooting a car commercial. So hopefully you go out there, have some fun shooting your own car commercials or YouTube videos or a video that includes a car in it. Again, a big thanks to our sponsor this week, who actually helps fund the production and have a crew to actually make this video. And that sponsor again was Audible. It's a great sidekick for this summer. If you're out there road tripping or running, it's great to just listen to an audiobook and you're gonna learn something along the way. If you wanna start your 30-day trial and get a free audiobook, again, you can head over to audible.com/Chris Howe or text Chris Howe, all one word, to 500 if you guys are from the States. All right, guys, that's it. We'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out, everybody. Hit that like button, and we'll see you next time. Peace.